Hey everybody, Barry here again. So anyway, I bought this trailer and right now it has a single axle, but obviously it was a double axle trailer. And I think it was used for hauling around crab pots or something like that. So I'm gonna do it up to haul around cars, scrap cars, race cars, swing sets for my girls, whatever. It's just gonna be a trailer. And yeah, well right now I got to take it apart, take all the old plywood and stuff off that's all damaged, and scrap it down and see what I have to work with. Let's talk about plans. So obviously all this is going, all the sides are going, fenders are going. I'm going to cut this axle and widen it so that the tires are out here, and then I can drop the trailer down a lot, or at least have it at the same height, but the tires will be on the outside so that I can roll a car up on them. Maybe put a winch up here at some point so I can just winch on old car wrecks, something that doesn't run. If the van breaks down or the rat rod breaks down and doesn't run, at least I can winch it up. I don't even care if it's one of the old manual ones for hauling up boats. Not a big deal. So yeah, I'm gonna grab a hammer and a pry bar and start beating this thing up. Get all the old wood out of it. Man, that was a lot of work. Oh, I thought for sure I was gonna hit myself in the face with the hammer, but didn't happen. Well, this is coming along. I'm gonna have to brace it up like a lot. That's pretty crunchy down there. I think I'm gonna tear the floor off now. This garage right here is absolutely full where we renovated our bathroom, so might as well put more wood in it, I guess. Just hear me out. I paid $50 for it, okay? Don't give me a hard time yet. I was wondering why it was tracking kind of funny on the way home, but it's definitely to do with the green rope tied onto the axle and the pipe that's welded because the leaf spring broke. But I don't care. Also, I'm like 95% certain that it was a camper because of the grey water drain tube. Or the vent or whatever it is that goes through the back of the frame, so that's fine. It was a camper at once. This is a massive trailer. I measured it. It's like 18.5 feet long. The Cadillac is 16 feet long, like from the bumper to the bumper. So there'd still be 2 feet of trailer behind it, 2 and a bit. So this is gonna be sick. Of course, the back frame rail is completely cooked, which wasn't load bearing anyway. The frame rails up here seem okay. As flaky as they are, they seem okay. I think I'll leave these ties here. I like those. Mainly just to give me a reference point on how wide this thing is going to be. Because when I was towing it with the Cadillac, if I look out each mirror, I could see that the sides that I tore off were about 2 inches wider than the Cadillac. As I was towing it, I could see the whole sides. So that's like the perfect width because that's a wide vehicle. And I'm not going to be towing anything heavier than this thing anyway. That's 5,700 pounds. So I'll make the edge of my trailer is going to be this wide. That's where I'll stop. I'll leave those, even though I'll get some 2x3 and make spanners the whole way across the trailer to really stiffen it up, put ribs in. Like every couple of feet I'll put a rib or something like that there, like studs in a house. Tear out that back, put a whole new one on it. Maybe I may even cut it off right here somewhere and tip it down a little bit. That would get away, we'll get rid of anything here that may be bad, because obviously that's messed up there really bad. Everything here seems fine. Give me some opinions on whether this should be a solid axle trailer, meaning the axle would bolt or would weld directly to the trailer ribs here, or if I should continue on and do leaf springs again. I'm going to be hauling pretty heavy machines. Like I might have to haul the caravan home, which is 4,500 pounds. So am I going to be maxing out leaf springs and just be bottoming out all the time anyway, or should I just go on and do solid axles? So there's a lot of work to do. I'll cut this in the middle, put a foot in or 2 feet or whatever it is I need. You can see right now that this backside of the tire has to be about 1.5 inches out past the edge of the trailer right here. So I'm gonna probably have to put in 10 inches there or more. And the other axle will go right here. And the front looks fine. I think that was where the wiring went, so that's all good. It's all fairly heavy material, like it's 1/8 inch steel. And even the angle iron is fairly heavy. That's like 1/8 inch. So while there's a lot of work to do, it is a really good start to a trailer when I don't have like $2 grand. I got a nail in my foot. When I don't have like $2 or $3 grand to go and drop on a car hauler. So, you know, spend a little bit of time, a little bit of money, a little bit more money, a little bit more time, and at the end of it, I'll have a car hauler. And potentially, this looks like it was either a battery mount or a winch mount, but it looks like a battery because it's fairly light. So if I put a battery right here with a winch there, I can winch stuff onto the trailer. Obviously I need new tires. They're cooked. They're 5 bolts, so it looks like 3,500 pound axle. And this one's a drop axle. It's pretty cool. And it had brakes at one time. They don't work. I haven't really measured this yet, but the axle is 61 inches. So that's the trailer frame rails are 61. From this side to here is about 92 inches. So it's not actually terrible. Yeah, that could actually work. This one here is not a big deal. I think it's 2 3/8 outside diameter, so I can just cut it, put 2 or 3 feet of sleeve in there. And I think it's an RV axle because of the way it's bowed. I think they bow like that so they can take the extra weight. So what do I have to do now? Clean up that mess, I guess. That is a lot of wood. But other than that, I'm impressed with this thing. It looks even longer now. So I wanted to measure the Cadillac. So this thing, with the tape right up to the edge of the tire, is 77 inches-ish? We'll say 77. And in between the tires on the trailer is only 69 inches. So I only need 8 more inches anyway. So that would be 4 inches on each side widened. But I think I'm gonna go a foot anyway, just so I know that I have enough room. And yeah, this thing's gonna be wide. I'll check to see what the laws are on the widest that a trailer can be, wheels including, and I'll do it as wide as I can, but you know, 1 inch less than the actual limit in case I get pulled over and you want to give me a hard time. So yeah, this thing's gonna be phenomenal. I can't wait. And the width hub to hub on this axle looks like it's about 78 inches-ish, 79 maybe. Hello, Chloe. Chloe's helping me build the trailer while playing with dogs. Potentially could still use the leaf springs because all the brackets and everything are already here. So if I can get these swing thingies to work, because the bushings are definitely gone in those, then I could just put in 4 new packs of leaf springs and actually have suspension, which is is never a bad thing because the roads here are awful. Just horrible. So it wouldn't hurt not to beat all the ball joints out of the vehicle before I even get it on the road. So I got another axle. Guy from out about an hour from here, Ward Stuckey, nice guy, came in. He was like, "Here, man, here's a trailer axle. It needs work, but whatever. Like one of the bearings are gone, whatever. Everything is in good shape." And it's basically the exact same axle. So I need to widen it. And what it is it's a 6-inch drop axle, or 5-inch, something like that. I'll measure that for you. And it uses 2-inch inside diameter Schedule 40 pipe. And I'm going to slice those off. I'll cut around the welds, knock it off, just like the drive shaft thing that I did a while ago. So it's sleeved in probably an inch or something like that, maybe. So I'm gonna go buy some more pipe at a ridiculous price of like $9 a foot. Because welcome to Newfoundland and the price of steel is outrageous. So yeah, I'm gonna bring the axle in here, cut the ends of it, see what it looks like. So here's the other axle. It's an RV axle. It's basically exactly the same as the one that was on my trailer. I wonder if it's the same axle. But it's all here. It's heavy. And obviously the springs are cooked. U-bolts are no good. All that stuff. It had electric brakes, not using that. But I'm just gonna cut it off right on that weld right here that you can see. And I'll probably cut halfway through the weld here, knock that spindle off, and make an axle. So I gotta add 11 inches into this one, and that'll make it 94 inches. And that'll give me room to have, like I say, a 6-inch wide rim or something like that, because I can't go over 105 inches. And I'd rather make it like 103, just in case DOT wants to give me a hard time. You know, if I'm a ½ inch under or a ½ inch over, you know what it is, you take it. And then it's pulled off the road, I gotta go redo the whole thing. So enough for it. Let's cut it up and go get some steel. I think this goes back to how indecisive I am. So I cut around the edge here, right on the other side of the weld, so I have a nice straight cut. And I only just kind of marked it with the grinder and then started to cut through till I found the sleeve. Except I cut through and there's no sleeve. There's nothing. It's just butted up against this and welded. And I don't really feel comfortable aligning it and then welding it and having it perfect without like a lathe or a milling machine or something like that, or some sort of a guide that I can cut this with. Now I could do my paper trick where I roll paper around it and have it perfect, but I want to go wear and tires and have to do this all over again. So it's just kind of scarred around here, like not serious, cut in 1/16 of an inch or something. So I'm gonna go and re-weld all this here, because it's only that one spot right here that I got through about a ½ inch or so. So I'm gonna go and re-weld the whole way around here, make sure it's nice and strong. So what I did was cut this directly in half. So let's get an outside view on this. I only gotta widen it a foot. And if I only have to widen it a foot, then I can buy 2 feet. Let's get this half lined up. So here's my, say, foot. I can buy 2 feet. That way I'll have 6 inches of overlap on this side, 6 inches of overlap on that side, and it'll be nice and true. Because the steel is almost snug. It's off 1/16 of an inch or something dumb like that, not serious. That'll give me just enough wiggle room to get it in there and lined up straight. So I'll slide it on over here, weld it the whole way around. And so if it's gonna be 6 inches of overlap on the 3-inch mark, I'll drill a couple, say 3/8 or 1/2 inch holes in the outside sleeve and then plug weld it to this. That way it's not only welded on the outside. I did this on something else too. Something on the Caravan, I can't remember what it was. Steering shaft, that's what I did. So when I cut and welded the steering shaft on that, I had 4 or 5 inches of sleeve, did the same thing. It works awesome. That way, if there's any torsional force or rotation force or anything like that, it's not only relying on the perimeter weld around the pipe, it's also got, it's almost very similar to putting a bolt through it or whatever. So, also, this is gonna cut about $150 off of my pipe because instead of buying 7 feet, 14 feet for 2 axles, now I just gotta buy 4 feet, which I'm not doing this for a cost-cutting saving thing. I don't want to save $1 and end up risking somebody's life or going off the road and killing myself. I want this to be absolutely safe, but sometimes you save money and that's okay. So let's go over and get some steel and maybe I'll have a wider axle today. Well, I just went over to Concrete Concepts and got my steel. So here's 4 feet of 2.5 inside diameter schedule 40. Looks like it's about a 3/16 or a quarter wall. That's a quarter. So I'll cut this in half and use 2 feet for here. It's only got to be widened 11 inches. So that'll give me 6.5 inches over that, whatever. I also found out that this is 2-inch inside diameter. The exhaust pipe is 2-inch outside diameter. So to make sure it's perfectly straight, I can't see why I couldn't be able to sleeve, like slide this on over first, like slide it back here farther, and then sleeve my 2-inch exhaust pipe just in here and leave a couple inches, whatever, put some welds around it. That way I'll make sure that it's perfectly straight and not going to be angled this way or that way with the tire. I can just weld that in, slide my pipe back over and weld it around both sides and plug it like I said. So I think that'll work pretty well. It's not going to add any real extra weight. It's just exhaust pipe. It's only there to align the 2 pieces of pipe. So I'll go ahead and try that. So first I have to cut this off and then we'll see what this here does after. Well, I got the pipe cut off, this piece right here, and here's my axle, and here's a piece of 2-inch outside diameter pipe. I'm going to see if I can get it to fit down in the axle. I just got to ream it where I cut it off with the chop saw. There's a seam running the whole way down the pipe, like right here, that's raised with 1/16 of an inch. So if I can drive that down far enough, I think this will go there. Just right through it. Here's my 2-inch pipe, and just with a little bit of work, I got it in there about 1 inch or so. So that's not too bad. I'll drive it in as far as I can. I got it reamed about 1.5 inches or so in. And that's probably just enough for me to get this thing perfectly lined up. So, positive. So I need to be a 11-inch opening and add on 1.5 inches each side, so we'll go 14 inches. And that should give me the perfect amount to widen this thing. Sweet. Okay. That works for me. This is perfect. It's straight. I figured if it's gonna be straight, it's gonna be straight on these spring perches. So put that one on the floor, that one on the floor, have my 2 marks, measure between here, kind of bunked it back and forth with the hammer a little bit, and it's like dead on 11 inches apart. And it's straight. And one thing I do like about this is it keeps its arch. So that when the weight comes on sort of the middle part over here, it'll bow down and that'll straighten the wheels out. Cool. This is the first time I ever did this and it's awesome. I like it. Now I just have to do another one and hopefully I'll improve on the other one a little bit more even. Well, I won't cut that first. I'm gonna go re-weld that right now. Weld this pipe fully to inside there. Slide that across, center it, weld it on. I love welding. This is perfect. We've got a complete axle. How cool is that? Here's where I plug welded. 2 spots on top. I also did on the bottom. You can see down here. Welded the whole way around. It ain't professional looking, but it's definitely going to work. So that's one axle down. I got to do another one, which won't be today because it's still under the trailer. And when I cut the old brackets off that they got welded on there and the pipe welded in and the green rope tied around, it can't go back on easily. So I'll probably end up bringing the trailer up here, do it all in one weekend. That'll be on another video, of course. I also will paint all of this, put in new bearings, get them all greased up and stuff. Get some new wheel studs for right there because this has the threaded type. Just like on this wheel here, which I'm not a big fan of, but it's what I have. That's it. It makes it kind of a pain trying to put wheels on and stuff, but whatever. Hopefully I'll bolt the wheels on. I'll never have a flat tire or a bearing give out. Probably though. But yeah, so this thing is done. I measured. It's 94 inches hub to hub, exactly what I wanted. That gives me room to have, you know, say 3 inches of offset, and that'll be like 100 inches. 4 inches of offset and maybe a little bit more. So it's perfect. And this trailer thing, hopefully I'll have it done kind of soonish. And by soon I mean like in a month maybe, because I started this video like 3 weeks ago and I'm only ending it right now. So I've been kind of picking at it bits and pieces at a time. And when I got a little bit of YouTube money, I spent on some steel and that kind of thing. So yeah, on that note, thanks for watching and subscribing and like the video if you like it. And have a great day, everybody.